Today I'm going to run over a few tips to help you study better for VCE biology. Tip 1. Make summaries. Take your time in preparing your notes because these will be key for your revision. Your notes should be exactly that, your original notes, which means that you shouldn't be copying out slabs of information from your textbook or using other prepared notes. Your notes should be succinct summaries that still contain all the information required. Try to use colour, diagrams, headings, and any other formatting that will encourage you to review them. Also, make sure that you have a copy of the study design handy to ensure that your notes are covering all bases. Tip 2. Know what you need to know. You should consult the study design for any VCE subject that you're studying, but it's really important in biology to pay particular attention to what extent you need to know about a particular topic. Biology is quite an in-depth and complicated field that goes into much further detail than you learn in VCE. For example, while you do need to know about photosynthesis, the study design explicitly states that the details pertaining to the differences between CAM, C3 and C4 plants are beyond the scope of the course. Do not take what is contained in your textbook as being exactly what you need to memorise and learn, as more often than not, it contains superfluous information that puts what you're learning into context. It's a good idea to consult the frequently asked questions and examiners' reports on the VCE biology website as other means to give you an indication of the amount of depth required. For instance, in the frequently asked questions document, it states that in regards to signal transduction, students need to understand the process of lipid-based and protein-based signalling molecules in general terms, but don't need to know details about specific chemicals, reaction mechanisms, or cascades. Yet, these details are often described heavily in textbooks. Tip 3. Create diagrams. It's a good idea to include diagrams in your notes, but you should also prepare separate poster images of diagrams to help you consolidate particular topics. It's also helpful if you make these diagrams large enough so you can stick them to your window, on the back of your study door, above your bed, or in other places where you can regularly see and read them. Because you're expected to recognise and interpret different diagrams in the exam, this will give you good practice. If you're not quite the artist yourself and do not want to draw your own diagrams, use existing diagrams, but make sure you include your own annotations. An obvious suggestion for a diagram to include would be one of an animal cell, drawn with all the organelles. You could have annotations detailing their roles with particular focus on their roles in protein transport. Flowcharts can be particularly useful for representing aspects of the course that represent step-by-step processes, as they can be used as a checklist to ensure that you cover all bases when discussing the topic during assessment. For example, you could use a flowchart outlining the lines of defences in immunity, with each line of defence occupying its own box in your flowchart. When using your flowchart first, you will look at the innate defences such as the body's barriers and chemical secretions. If these are not enough to fight off the evading pathogen, then you would move down to the next box in your flowchart to discuss the next line of defence that would be used against the pathogen and repeat for subsequent defences. Tip 4. Create mind maps. What is important to remember whenever you're studying is that what you learn in biology is not isolated. Try not to view things you learn as belonging to discrete topics. Rather, view things more broadly and holistically. And begin integrating the information you learn. Producing mind maps helps you focus on particular concepts and helps you build relationships between them so that you're not left with disconnected ideas. It's a good idea to create one for each unit once you've completed them, and then a large mind map once you've completed all of VCE biology. At this point, you should see relationships between the two units. For example, you should see that knowledge in regards to the transport of proteins in different organelles, which you learn at Unit 3, can be linked with knowledge acquired in Unit 4 in regards to how proteins are synthesized through mechanisms of transcription and translation. Tip 5. Complete practice exams. Completing practice exams gives you an opportunity to apply the knowledge you've learnt from studying biology. It gives you an opportunity to get an indication of what concepts you know and what you still need to revise. When marking your exams, if you can't trust yourself not to be biased, get someone else to mark it, your teacher or a friend. If you're going to mark it yourself, then be harsh. Keep track of all the questions you get wrong and do not get despondent if you're getting these questions wrong. Use them as a learning tool to know what things you need to review and learn from your mistakes. Make sure you read the examiner's reports thoroughly to know exactly where students were losing marks so that you don't make the same mistakes. The VCAR website provides past exams. Focus on the ones from the current study design. Engage also provides free practice exams that can be used as a valuable source of revision that are also on their website. Thanks for watching and happy studying.